Hoops, hockey, and more, including Mike Golick from ESPN is going to be here on this week's edition of the Sports News. All of it powered by the Red Zone over on Regent Street and Conant Automotive in Stoughton. Your headlines are next, right here on the Sports News on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. All right, time now for the headlines. Your look into the tackles, hits, checks, and dunks that make up the local sports scene. I am Rich Reynolds, and as always, let's hit the ground running. You know, there's an old saying that will get you very far in life, and that is, ladies first. Now, in today's modern world of gender homogeny and downright androgyny, that sounds a bit dated, but I'm rarely modern and definitely old school. So I shall abide the maxim. Now, we rarely get to see a team in sports actually emulate their moniker. Packers rarely pack, and Brewers, well, they rarely brew. But the Crusaders of Madison Edgewood were on a mission. A year after their girls basketball team reached the D3 finals and lost by a single point, the third-ranked Crusaders returned to the Resch Center in Green Bay and won their 19th in a row. They got 45 combined points from Stella Moshkow, Caitlin Link, and Katie Marigioli, as Edgewood won their first ever state title. 51-30 was the final over Greendale Martin Luther as the ladies finished their crusade. Now, also in Green Bay on Saturday, D1 saw Appleton North top De Pere for the title. In D2, Beaver Dam completed a perfect season to cut down the nets. Howard Grove edged Aquinas 44-43 in Division 4, while Loyal won Division 5. Well, the state finals for the boys coming up at the Kohl Center next week are now set. And for a few teams, well, they won't have to travel too far. Madison Memorial is a team that's used to success, but even though they've been to the state finals 10 times since 2004, they haven't been there since 2012. Coach Steve Collins got his team rolling in the second half Saturday night after trailing 19-13 at the half to the upstart Madison East Pergolders. Chris Knight scored 16 of his 19 in the second stanza, had two monster dunks, and his own block party as Memorial pulled away to a 50-35 win and a trip to state. Now, a team that's never been there before are the L-Cats of Lake Mills, but Alex Ranney knocked down a three with 2.8 seconds left on the clock to send Lake Mills to a 50-47 win over Adams Friendship. Also, just a stone's throw away from the Kohl Center, the Waunakee Warriors are back, cruising to a 57-39 win over Westosha Central. It's the third trip to state for Waunakee, which was last there in 2011. And on the ice, it's only fitting that we talk ladies first as well, as the top-ranked Wisconsin Badgers women's hockey team is back in the Frozen Four of the NCAA tournament. A record crowd of over 2,400 packed LeBron Arena and propelled the Badgers to their fourth straight Frozen Four as Bucky disposed of Robert Morris 7-0. Coach Johnson and his squad are shooting for their fifth national championship and first since 2011. They will take on Boston College on Friday in St. Charles, Missouri. Now, as far as the men's team, well, they were swept by Ohio State at the Kohl Center. The Badgers still held on to the second seed in the upcoming Big Ten tournament, despite losing 3 straight, and will most likely need to win the tournament to make it into the NCAA field. Well, for more information on our headlines and all the 411, check out these fine, non-fake news websites. Stick around, we have more interviews than anyone else. That's coming up next, right here on the Sports News on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. All right, just to let you know, if you see bangs under my eyes, it's because of all the extra late-night hockey that was going on at the Coliseum over the weekend. Nice to see the Caps earn a split, though, with a win on Saturday night in OT. Thriller, actually. And so we're going to talk more Capitals right now as we bring in Kim Chakos from the Madison Capitals. And Kim, welcome on back, and let's talk about this upcoming weekend. St. Patrick's Day is in full effect, and we got a pretty good thing going on Friday night, don't we?
We do, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Rich. On Friday night, it's another one of our dollar beer nights, so it's going to be a hit. But it's also St. Patrick's Day, so we're actually going to add some green food coloring. We're going to have some green beer in the beer garden on Friday night, so you don't want to miss out.
And I'm going to resist the temptation to do the entire announcing in an Irish brogue. So,
you should.
So for St. Patrick's Day night and that Dollar Green Beer Night, any ticket specials going on for that?
We do have one through our website at madcapshockey.com. You can get, for $13, you can get a ticket to the game and a slice of Rocky Rococo's pizza. So
Excellent.
Another great deal. So you can get some pizza, you can get some green beer, and a ticket to the game. It's going to be excellent.
Good stuff. And speaking of good stuff and some good deals, Saturday night is one of those good deal nights too. $2 night, what does that mean?
Yep, so it's our $2 family night concession nights. And what it is you can get a hot dog, nachos, pretzels, chips, or a soda. They're all $2 each, so it's a steal of a deal for families out there. And then in addition, I'm gonna jump ahead, we do have a deal for that night as well. It's $14 and you get a ticket to the game and you get a scoop of chocolate shop ice cream. So we're all about feeding you Saturday night at a great price.
Excellent. The New Year's resolutions are already well blown anyway, so that'd be a great thing to do. Let's move ahead. You talked about jumping ahead. How about all the way ahead to March 31st? Something to do with wiener dogs on the ice.
Yeah, we need our fans' help. So it's a big thing nowadays to do this awesome wiener dog race during intermission. And so there's a couple other teams in our league that has done it. And so we're gonna do it. We're gonna partner with a great organization in town. But we need our fans' help who have wiener dogs at home that would like to race during the first and second intermission. Don't worry, it's completely safe. They're gonna have a blast and our fans are really gonna enjoy it. So fans can log onto our website at madcapshockey.com and register their dogs.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just seeing the wiener dogs slide across the ice.
Yeah, me too. I mean, those short little legs are gonna be adorable.
Absolutely. So where can fans, you just mentioned madcapshockey.com, they can get tickets there. Where else can they buy tickets?
Yep, madcapshockey.com is the best place. They can also call our office at 257-2277. There's Ticketmaster, and we also have great deals on Facebook and Twitter as well.
And a lot of great stuff going on. Also this past weekend, got to raise some money for the UW Carbone Cancer Center. Those were some great jerseys, Kim.
Yeah, they were excellent. That Columbia blue color really just popped on the ice, and we were able to raise some money for UW Carbone Cancer Center, which was near and dear to my heart, and it was really great to see our fans come out and support such a great cause.
Beautiful stuff. Check out the Caps this weekend, Kim. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics.
You know, we talked about the Spartans in our headlines as they are making headlines right now with the boys basketball team, and we always love talking about them and bringing in guests from Madison Memorial High School. Let's bring in the head honcho, the athletic director, Jeremy Schlitz, who joins us now on the Sports News. And Jeremy, congratulations on the boys moving on to state. If you could, give us a recap and some of the other stuff that's been happening with your winter sports teams.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question because it's a tough one to answer. We had a really successful winter. Started off in terms of tournament. Our boys swim team finished second at the state meet. Had a great season and really exceeded some expectations. Our girls basketball team really grew in numbers, and we're looking forward to a really young team growing that way. Wrestling had a couple of wrestlers at sectionals, and then you look at our gymnastics team qualified for state for the 4th straight year, and it was a good hockey season, and it's great to stay busy in the winter, and I got one more week of that.
Yeah, it seems like you guys were always popping up on our headlines. So many big things going on. You mentioned the swim team and all. I mean, great stuff. How about for the spring now? What can we look forward to Spartan sports in the spring?
Well, I'm looking forward to the ground drying out and the snow being gone for good. But I think the nice part about the beginning of seasons is you get a chance to write your own story, and I really look forward to seeing what our track athletes can do. We've got a lot of kids back that had some success. Same thing with softball and baseball and tennis. We had a tennis player that finished highly at the state meet last year's back. So I look forward to seeing kind of what they can write their own story and enjoy following that and enjoy the weather getting to be good.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that we try to follow too a little bit are some trends in high school athletics. Now, from your point of view, what are some of the trends that you see going on right now?
Yeah, I think some things we see, it's nice that we have some data looking at different things like multi-sport playing and education-based athletics and the value of it. I think we're really getting a little bit more of looking into how this is a valuable thing and how to best do it to provide our kids a wonderful experience. And I think right now we're looking at sports specialization as not a positive, and I think that's a great thing, especially for high school sports, to get those multiple experiences and do what's right for their body.
Very much so, and it seemed to be trending that way a few years ago, and now rounding out the athlete definitely seems to be on the rise, so that is good stuff. Let's talk about your job specifically too, as far as being the athletic director of such a great sports program. What do you think is the best part of your gig?
The best part of the thing, and yesterday I was lucky enough to just see the pure joy and genuineness of celebration of doing something together with your friends, with your classmates, whether it was in the crowd or on the court or part of the dance team or cheerleading squad. Just the successes that you see. But the nice part about the athletic director is you also get to see them work through the battles to get to that point. So I just seen the growth in the kids, and it's really a pure form of excitement that you don't always get in other things.
It's great stuff. Good luck to the boys this weekend, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics.
Welcome back to the Sports News. I'm Jessa Jeremiah. We are talking about the Chosen Few Fighting Championships today, and I am so excited to have Joshua Sterry joining us, who is the president and matchmaker. Josh, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And we've also got current pro CFFC featherweight champ. That's a tongue twister, a mouthful, but it's a big title, and it's really exciting to have you here. This is Alex Gilpin. Nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me too.
So this is such an incredible series of events that we've obviously had the opportunity and the pleasure of covering and being a part of. So I want to make sure that we touch a little bit for folks who haven't had the opportunity to see it. We covered CFFC 9 and 10. We're going into 11. So Josh, give folks just a little bit of background about what these events are all about.
Yeah, so we are a professional and amateur mixed martial arts promotion, and we have our events at the beautiful downtown Monona Terrace. We just bring a little bit something different to the table as far as the mixed martial arts scene goes at a very classy venue. We just have some spectacular fighters and just an overall great event.
Yeah, I mean, well said, and no kidding, because it is such an incredible event that you put on, and just incredible athleticism by these guys. And I want to get to Alex in just a second, but really quick for us, Josh, give us some of the highlights. We're going into CFFC 11, so a lot of great moments under your belt. What are some of the ones you're looking forward to for this event?
Mainly probably the title defenses. We have 2 of them and a new title fight, but Alex here is our current featherweight champion as a professional, and he will be defending his title April 8th for CFFC 11. And we also have an amateur title defense at featherweight. James Clark will be defending his title, and then we have an open vacant 205-pound title, which our local Chosen Few Gym, Alex Polizzi, will be fighting for as well.
All right, so we look forward to that, and I can only imagine what kind of preparation must go into preparing yourself for these fights. I mean, like I said, the athleticism is incredible. You can see it on all the athletes that there has been just so much preparation leading into this. So, Alex, talk to me a little bit about what is your training schedule like? You're defending your title and going into this event. It must be a pretty rigorous schedule.
Yeah, it is. It definitely varies day to day, depending on the day of the week or how I'm feeling, waking up in the morning, whether I'm feeling overtrained or if I'm feeling good. It might be 1 workout, it might be 3 workouts, between all my practices and strength conditioning kind of stuff that I do. Usually about 6 days a week too, sometimes 7, so.
And I can imagine that, well, 6 or 7 days a week is an awful lot of training, it sounds like. But I imagine that, rest going into it is really important too. You mentioned you don't want to be overtrained and put yourself in a position to have an injury.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do feel like a lot of fighters, while some may undertrain, I definitely think some overtrain. And I think that's definitely a neglected part, is making sure you're recovered, because to get the most benefit out of your training, I do feel like you need to be recovered. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, finding that balance, is a very important one to find. Now, I'm curious a little bit about your mindset going into this next event. So on April 8th, you're meeting your opponent, Nicholas Compton, and your mindset that day, your mindset that night, walking into the event, what are you thinking and how do you prepare for that?
All the hours I put in the gym, I know that once the cage door closes and once the ref lets us start fighting. I'll be ready to go, and instinct takes over. So, you know, there's nerves and things like that going into it, but as soon as I'm making that walk to the cage, I'm feeling at home, and you know, that's where I want to be, and I enjoy doing this. So while I'm fighting, I don't really feel too nervous. So.
Well, I'm sure that adrenaline kicks in, and all of that hard work and training that you have done to prepare yourself leading into this day, you know you've put in the work, and now it's just up to you to get in there and see what you can make happen. And we are just so excited to watch that on April 8th, and as well as the other events that are happening. So thanks a little bit for sharing your story and your training schedule with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Josh, really quick too, I want to talk a little bit about, for folks who are interested, now this is such a great event and we're going to be able to cover this event on television as well, but there's nothing quite like seeing the live event. So talk to us about Chosen Few Fighting Championships 11. When do doors open? How do folks get tickets?
Sure.
It's on April 8th. What time can we expect it?
Yeah, so currently we have 14 fights booked for the evening, and doors open at 5, fights start at 6. We're typically done by around 10 p.m., somewhere around there. You can get tickets at chosenfewfc.com, and you can go there and get your reserved seats. There is limited seats available left, and they do sell out typically. But we may have a few tickets available at the door, but definitely go on to our website, chosenfewfc.com, and see if there's any available so you have a reserved ticket for you at the door.
Well, absolutely. Like I said, the live event is just an incredible experience, a great venue, and we look very much forward to it. So Josh Sterry with Chosen Few Fighting Championships, thanks so much for putting this event together for us and being here today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And Alex Gilpin, we can't wait to see you on April 8th, and best of luck to you, and we look forward to it.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to be back with more sports news coming up right after the break.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car.
Welcome back. Mike Golic played 9 years in the NFL, and during that time he was known for never to be one to shy away from a big hit. He is now taking that same mentality off the field. At age 42, Mike Golic was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And with that same attitude he had on the gridiron, he is now taking to his life off the field, striving for a full, healthy, and energetic lifestyle. Joining us today on the show is NFL legend and host of Mike and Mike in the Morning, Mike Golic, and Dr. John Anderson. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Mike, we're going to start with a little bit of sports here in Madison, Wisconsin. All eyes are on the Badgers men's basketball team slumping at the end of Big Ten season play, losing 5 of 7 games. As a former player yourself heading into tournament time, how do you change that mentality around and kind of re-gear up for March Madness? You
know, the big thing you do is you don't look at the big picture. You take it one minute at a time, one half at a time. I mean, you can't start to think of all the things going forward ahead of the next game. And I know that's easy to say, it's cliche-ish, but it's true. The only thing you can control as an athlete is the next time you're out on the court, the ice, the field, the pool, whatever you're in. You can't control 2 games away. You can't control what round. All you can control is who am I playing next and what can I do in those next 4 minutes, the 4 minutes after that, the 4 minutes after that, at halftime. What adjustments do I make and go from there? You got to put away what happened at the end of the regular season and the conference tournament and just move on and say you got a clean slate.
Great advice, and we'll take some of that Mike and Mike karma as we head into this crazy and fun time of year always. Now turning from the hard court to more serious matters off the court, Mike will again continue with you at age 42, diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. How did that hit you, and what was your initial reaction to that news?
Well, it was surprise, certainly, to be diagnosed with that, but it wasn't overly shocking because my dad was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in his early 40s as well. So it had been in our family, so I knew it was there. My dad chose to kind of deal with it on his own and not really, bring others into it. He wanted to deal with it by himself, which was fine for him. When I was diagnosed, I know all my life I had been involved in team sports, and I rely on teammates and my coach, so that's how I wanted to approach this. And it's how I've approached it for the last 12 years is my doctor is my new head coach. We game plan every 3 or 4 months when I see him. We tweak or change what needs to be done. And my family is my teammates. I rely on them. They rely on me. We all try and live that healthy lifestyle because I'm going to have to deal with this for the rest of my life. I have 3 kids. 2 of them were our boys who were large football players who know their grandfather had type 2 diabetes, their father has type 2 diabetes. So they have to be smart themselves so in their early 40s or whenever, they're not diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
And Dr. Anderson, you know, Mike mentioned you as his head coach, which is a compliment in itself, but how do you take on that mentality? Describe basically what the game plan is dealing with someone like Mike with type 2 diabetes and the team around you.
Well, you know, everyone has a busy lifestyle. Some of us have really hectic lifestyles. But the key is that no matter how you're living your life, you can live well with diabetes, but you have to have an individualized plan. So when are you going to have time for healthy eating or even healthy meal preparation? When are you going to find time for exercise? How are you going to take your medications and when? When are you going to check your blood sugars? And maybe that team, as Mike described, is not just your family. Maybe that's your coworkers you're with several hours a day who can help keep you on track. But the key is it has to be individualized for your needs because that patient's going to have diabetes for the rest of their life.
Absolutely, and Mike, you know, you hear your coach kind of lay out the game plan. You're a tough football guy, and that's what you're known for, and many viewers watching today may have that same mentality. How do you take that game plan and really be encouraged and live it out? What's some of the advice or tips you'd get to really hopping on board with that game plan?
Well, especially at times with guys, a lot of times we feel like we can do things ourselves or we don't need help. You know, when you're out there and you're lost driving a car, a guy never wants to stop and ask for directions. I was never like that. I want the help. And that's what I would encourage everybody to do is seek the help. You know, get the information. Don't try and do this alone. Between your doctor and those around you, whether it's family members, whether it's coworkers, get everybody involved in this situation. That's what I want to stress. And Janssen Pharmaceuticals has given me a large stage to try and get that point across, is get that game plan, live out that game plan. And the game plan can change. There have been sometimes I saw the doctor, numbers aren't great. Sometimes they're a lot better. They've been as consistent as they've had in a long time right now. And so I have a good game plan going. I'm at a weight I was in high school at 54 years old. So I'm feeling as good as I've ever felt. And I hope everybody can get that way, but it can take time. You know, I'm 12 years in and I'm feeling the best I felt right now. It takes game plan. And just like any game plan in football or any sport, sometimes you have to tweak it or change it, but everybody's got to be on the same page so you can live that healthy lifestyle.
Great. And Dr. Anderson, last point here, where can we look for more help and resources on this matter?
Well, you can go to icanimagine.com. It's a great website. It has Mike's story, but it also has a framework for having that conversation with your physician. We only get to see our patients maybe once every 3 to 4 months, and that time in the office with that patient is valuable. It gives you a framework for having the discussion with your physician. So I'd encourage you to go to icanimagine.com.
Great. Well, Dr. John Anderson and the Mike Golick, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. We'll be right back with the sports news. This celebrity interview was brought to you by Mile Bluff.
A huge thank you to all of our guests that were able to appear on this week's program. Also, a thank you to our sponsors, including the Red Zone over on Regent Street and Conant Automotive in Stoughton. And of course, a thank you to you as well for tuning in each and every week to me, Rich Reynolds, right here on the Sports News on Wisconsin's 57 Sports.